I wasn't planning on doing a video about the movie After the Hunt, but after watching it, I felt compelled to. I'm not going to be talking about many of the elements of the movie content-wise in terms of story, writing, dialogue, acting, etc., but rather what I would normally consider to be a supplementary element, the score. After the Hunt has quite possibly the worst score I've ever heard in a movie. And I've watched a lot of movies. I'm going to put a spoiler warning and a trigger warning up top just because explaining the scenes in context underlines how absolutely bonkers it is to have the sounds going on that they do. So spoiler alert, I will be discussing plot points and the story in so much as it's needed for this sound discussion. And trigger warning, the movie is largely about a sexual assault case at a university and the fallout that follows. Lastly, I have not in any fashion altered the audio from the movie. This is literally what was in it, no matter how inexplicable it is. The movie begins and I'm already starting to become irritated with it. We are yet to meaningfully meet any characters and my mood is already worsening. The movie begins with literally 2.5 minutes of a constant ticking, like a clock. The ticking coincides with the movie introducing the main character, Alma, played by Julia Roberts, going through her daily routine as a college professor. Now, if I was being charitable, and I do mean charitable, I'd put on a critical analysis hat and theorize that the ticking is to underline the banality of it all, that Alma is just sleepwalking or coasting through life, each tick of the clock as meaningless as the last or the next. Or, it's the least subtle foreshadowing in the world representing the ticking time bomb of how many people's lives are going to be significantly negatively impacted over the days to come. I'm not feeling particularly charitable, and I have no idea if either of those were even the intended purpose of this ticking. This is the first of many scenes which form my argument that this movie sacrifices the medium for the message. It is making the movie less watchable, either for purely stylistic reasons, which I cannot fathom, or for symbolic purposes. The problem being that my irritation factor is rapidly outpacing whatever symbolic brownie points the movie gets. As the movie continues to make baffling sound choice after baffling sound choice, there were only 2 reasons I kept watching. The first was, despite the movie's apparent efforts to irritate me to the point of leaving, I wanted to see how the story ended. Second was out of pure curiosity to see if the trend of horrendous sound design continued. Another reoccurring audio annoyance is what I can only describe as wailing. Take a listen.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to meet you.
So sure, it presumably reinforces the themes of pain and despair, but it's also just irritating and really worsens the experience, especially for someone wearing headphones while watching the movie. Our next auditory attack occurs 30 minutes into the movie. I'm going to give you whatever the auditory equivalent of a jump scare warning here is, because it comes out of nowhere and it's pretty loud, so turn down your volume a bit. Now, to set the scene, as if that somehow explains or contextualizes the sound design choice here, Alma has just been told by Maggie, played by Ayo Edebiri, that she was assaulted by Andrew Garfield's character last night. Maggie having just left, Alma re-enters her apartment and slowly walks around, presumably dazed from the shock and confusion. Yeah, I don't get it. I think I exhausted all the generosity I had for speculating why certain sound choices were made at the start of the video. This one is alarming, but in an off-putting way. This isn't a horror movie, strictly speaking, so an audio jump scare seems like an odd choice in addition to just being annoying and weird. Next, there's apparently some person they hired to play what feels like the same 5 or so keys over and over again on a piano. This is irritating for at least 3 reasons. 1, the piano budges its way into multiple important dialogue scenes. 2, the audio levels are such that while it's not drowning out the dialogue, it's still loud enough to be distracting. Here's one example from late in the movie. 2 of the characters are having a heated and emotional conversation. Time to roll out the piano man from the bar down the street to warm up before his gig. And thirdly, I swear it's the same handful of key progressions over and over from scene to scene. If not, it sure sounds like it is. So here's an example.
You translated it online? I guess it's impossible to keep anything to oneself these days. You don't know anything about me.
Whose fault is that?
You are not entitled to any information about me in my life.
And yet you have so much of mine.
I haven't asked you for anything.
And just in case you thought the ticking was gone, it returns and is even worse this time because it continues during dialogue. It's extremely distracting and just plain irritating.
A wake-up call for me, certainly, and for all of us. As many of you know, a female PhD student has brought allegations against a male professor.
But I've saved the worst for last. This is where we go from overbearing soundtrack with either wailing or dissonant, off-putting notes, or some really annoying person plonking the same 5 freaking keys on a keyboard over and over, to just absolute absurdity. I'll let the scene speak for itself, and to avoid copyright claims, I'm afraid you'll just have to look at some still images while the audio plays. To set the scene, Julia Roberts' character suffers from some sort of ulcer, which continually causes her significant pain and sometimes, as in this scene, causes her to throw up. So just imagine how you would design the sound around a scene of someone in severe pain throwing up in a toilet. Let's see how the movie does it. When I first watched this, I genuinely said aloud to no one, "Is this a joke?" Sure, it's nice of a Monday morning radio shock jock to swing by to punch up the scene. I couldn't fathom what I was hearing was in an actual movie. A movie that was in theaters, that people paid money to see. It's not a Hanna-Barbera cartoon, a Leslie Nielsen comedy, or a YouTube video being dubbed over with zany sounds. Unlike the ticking earlier, I have no theories for the point of this zany riff. I genuinely do not understand it, nor can I come up with a higher symbolic, metaphorical, or even cinematic purpose for it. If you understand, please explain it to me. I want to know. Were I asked to make a pithy summary of the sound design of this movie, my 2 words of choice would be overbearing and detrimental. The director of this movie is Luca Guadagnino. He's a director I've heard of, but skimming his IMDb page, I don't believe I've seen any of his other movies. According to IMDb, he's best known for directing I Am Love, Call Me By Your Name, and Challengers. Yes, I still haven't gotten around to watching Challengers. Point being, I have no idea if he hires the Hanna-Barbera sound team to punch up random scenes in his other movies, or forgets to tell the sound design team that the music probably shouldn't be louder than the dialogue. Does the sound choices ruin the movie completely? I don't think so. Does it make it worse? Yes. I'm curious how one's experience watching the movie would change knowing the sound design was strange at best and bad at worst going in. I had the misfortune of realizing this as I went, first thinking I was past it once the stupid ticking was gone, then the trombone or trumpet blarp, then the incessant piano notes, and so on. The only reason I powered through was because I was interested in seeing where the story went and curious to see what other sound choices would be made. So for all you aspiring artists out there, consider this a cautionary tale. You want to convey some sort of message, point, emotion, etc., and that's great. Just make sure that your point doesn't come at the cost of the reader or viewer's experience. As great as your point might be, I'd imagine it would be more effective if it was contained within a coherent and engaging piece of media. Thanks for watching.